All right, hello YouTube people. Welcome to Dark Gaming Squad. Today we're gonna be talking about we're creating a little mini half shot for Chris. So just stick around, grab something to drink, and hang out with us for a second. Okay, and then that's what we're gonna do our hoopty thing. Is that not good? You're shaking your head at me.
That's a really lame intro.
All right, we can take two.
Noob GM. We're not creating it. We already created it last time. We're adding to it.
We're working on it. Okay. I don't know what you're doing. Okay. Welcome to Dargan DM. Nope, it's not on a roll today.
Noob GM.
Noob GM. Welcome to Noob. Oh, okay.
Dargon Gaming Squad. Another episode of Noob GM.
Okay. Welcome. Join. Nope, can't do this. I'll let you do this one. I'm not good enough for this today. I'll let you handle this one. Take it away.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Dargon Gaming Squad. Today is going to be another episode of Noob GM. Nate is with me today to help me work on some of the details for the half shot. So grab a drink, grab a snack, and join us.
Beautiful. All right, so we're going to first start off talking about the NPCs or the events.
I don't think we need to talk about the events, so let's just talk about the NPCs.
All right, so I think
we have enough with the NPCs, I should say. Yeah.
So we are talking about NPCs.
Yeah, NPCs.
Okay. So starting on NPCs, I believe it was Sam who told you that that we want some defining characteristics of some of the bad NPCs and even some of the NPCs that are sitting inside of the inn.
Well, it's advice I've heard many times from many sources. So.
Oh, sweet, even better. Man, I'm just not doing good today.
So we talked about having last time Nate joined me after the live feed ended. He was able to finally join me, and so we fleshed out some things off air, which is probably great because I don't want everybody to hear every detail of the plan. But I had talked about having some bandits and some cultists. And we have an inn, so we have some innkeepers, and presumably an inn would have some guests. So what Nate's going to help me with tonight is kind of defining some of those characters so that if the PCs decide to interact with anybody, and they will need to interact with at least some of them, we have something to work with.
Yeah. This is
hopefully some defining features so that they can say, you know, something that they can refer to besides just the guy on the right, the guy on the left, the guy in the middle, you know, or gal.
Or tall person, short person.
Yeah, exactly.
Another short person.
So
all right. So let's actually first hit the innkeepers, because I think these guys, you know, owning the inn, do you have a pretty good idea of what they are, who they look like?
I do.
Well, why don't you let us know? And
they will make sense to you because they're familiar to you. So they're a little old couple, not super old. Actually, these folks are probably in their mid-50s, maybe early 60s. But they're not. They're human. But they're based on my in-laws, Norm and Teresa. So. My mother-in-law Teresa is just this sweet person who's really good at creating a homey atmosphere, and that's kind of how I see her. She's a gardener and a bird watcher, and that's how I see this innkeeper wife. I see her as there's probably flower boxes and things everywhere, and the place is just really tidy and has all those special little touches that it's not just their inn and their job, it's their home. I don't think he's as tall as my father-in-law, but, you know, kind of that same kind of personality, though, with the handyman. Like, he can fix anything and everything and does, and helps other people. You know, they're just really helpful to everybody all the time and super welcoming. So she's probably a shorter statured, capable, strong person who's who's fit for her age. And she's graying. She's maybe not white-haired like my mother-in-law really is, but maybe, but I kind of picture that same, the little curly hair and the kind of the maybe salt and pepper features.
I'm starting to get there.
So I'm having a little more difficult time with him because I don't see him quite as much my father-in-law, like more in personality, but maybe not so much in stature. So he's maybe not as tall, and but they're one of those couples, like they're the quintessential couple who's just, they're always holding hands, or that's something that's different about them, but like they're demonstrative. You can tell that they really love each other, and they're always like looking at each other, or he'll walk off and she'll watch him for a minute, or there's all those little signs of like a really good relationship, and you have this real sense that they've created this home together.
That's perfect, because like even if you don't end up using all of this, you at least have that ability to play off it if you actually need to.
So they need names. I don't know what their name should be.
I like Norman Teresa. It sounds kind of still distant enough, and you know who they are. No one else is gonna know. So
that's true. So maybe I'll just go with that. So
make it easy on yourself. So is there anybody else who's also helping the inn with them, or is it just gonna be this little couple that's doing all this work?
Yeah, I think they probably have several people helping them. At the very least, they have a cook, because these two putter around and do all the other stuff. Like she probably waits the tables, cleans, takes care of the beds and all of that. And maybe he tends the bar. I see him as maybe more the bartender of the group or of the team. And that still leaves somebody has to cook, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they have a niece, a daughter, a granddaughter.
Oh, maybe a granddaughter. That's a good idea.
Maybe a granddaughter. I like that idea.
Why would they have the granddaughter?
Maybe their granddaughter, just has become old enough to make her way in the world and do her own thing. Mm-hmm. And she missed her grandparents and thought she'd come and help them. Maybe her dream was to work at the inn. And so when she had the chance, maybe she left the neighboring town or wherever her parents live and came to live with her grandparents.
That makes a lot of sense. Maybe like it's some place that she went to when she was young and she just kind of fell in love with it, and so she had to return.
Right. Kind of like a young man I know.
Nudge, nudge. Yeah.
That likes his godparents' house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe it's just a place that she always loved and she wanted to be there, so she has come to help them out, and she knows they're getting older and they're getting to that point where somebody needs to help, and maybe she's hoping that she'll be the one who continues the legacy of the inn, the River's Edge, by the way.
I like it.
Inn.
So what's going to be her name?
How about Iris?
Iris, that definitely works. I like it.
Iris.
All right, so now we have basically the people that own the inn, that take care of the inn, and possibly one of the ones that are going to play a large role in some of the current events, or maybe a large enough role. So let's start talking about some of the patrons that are going to be in the inn. So what would we expect in this inn, and what type of people would be coming around this far into the woods to see this small, actually sounds like quite lovely inn though to stay in? Yeah. Is it like a big trading spot, or is it maybe just a small inn that's just kind of one of the side roads that not as many people know about? Is it kind of like a little, almost, as you say, like local secret? Like what's the story about this inn?
So this inn is on a river that's on the very edge of this kingdom, of the very northern edge of this kingdom. And there's a forest that divides it from the neighboring kingdom. So, we're talking way outpost place. So I think for one thing that it's a waypoint for people traveling from kingdom to kingdom.
Okay.
People, traversing the land. and as well as people going east-west. So people may go west or east, either way, to trade amongst themselves. You've got the farmers and agriculture type people and livestock raisers and stuff that are probably more to the west and to the east, and to the west we have it gets to be seaside and the river and stuff. So there's probably different goods and stuff traveling back and forth. But it's the outer edge of the kingdom, so it's not a huge major traveling point, but it is one that several people would at least go through. That people would at least go through if they're going, like I said, north, south, east, west. So crossroads. I guess it's a crossroads.
All right.
That's cool. Or sort of a crossroads, because actually in this spot, they can't really come from the south. They can go east, west, or north. But they have to get to the neighboring town to travel south again. So, and they're at the very edge of the forest, where it's just starting to, they're in a large clearing, but the forest isn't completely clear there yet. It hasn't yet given way to grasslands. So, it's just that it's a place that survives because it's the only place to stay before you get to the next town. And there's not much else to it. In later years, maybe it'll be more of a resort because it's, as things modernize or whatever. But now,
as it should. It should probably see a lot of traffic since it's sitting in such a.
So it sees traffic. I think it's more sporadic traffic than some of the other places you might see in a typical kingdom. But yet it's at the edge of the, so it gets enough, I think, for them to make a nice living. So it's a modest inn. It's not huge, but it can be quite packed at times.
I can
Probably
imagine
particularly in the spring and the fall, right, where the harvesting and
especially when people are moving about and being such a small sounding inn.
Right. So.
All right, so speaking of that, then what type of people are expected to see in this inn?
Yeah, so I think we could have people from just about any walk of life. And one thing would be just locals, like people who live in the area and are maybe farmers, or, whether that's people raising livestock, or people who live maybe in the forest and do, harvest things from the forest, and people in the few neighboring farms that are between here and the next town over, or the town. There isn't a town until you get there. So, so I think some local, a couple little local farms and stuff. They're probably, there's probably not a whole lot, but just enough.
So then are we going to expect in this little mini shot, we're going to expect to have maybe a farmer that's in there, or one of the local fishermen?
Yeah. Maybe either a farmer or like maybe a woodsman.
A woodsman, that works. All right, so let's make this NPC. So what would his name be? And maybe he's just like in there for the night, just drinking a beer, or maybe getting a late night meal after a hard day's work.
Woodsman. He has to be. His name has to be Paul.
Paul. All right, Paul or Jim, one of those.
Paul or Jim. Paul's the woodsman. Yep. Paul. Even I mean, so Nate gets the reference because I have a family member who does all of our wood cutting here, who is Paul, but there's also Paul Bunyan, right? So right away that
both of them are. So are we gonna make his personality half of Paul though?
Huh? No.
No? I can imagine him sitting in the bottom though, just hey you.
Definitely an ale drinker. Oh yeah, he might have some of that personality. So he's definitely an ale drinker. I think he's a little more brawny.
All right.
So should he be another race?
Oh, it could be.
I could see a dwarf being a woodsman.
Yeah.
Although I know that's not typical, but
who said it has to be typical though?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be typical at all. Or maybe what would be a good who'd be loners in the race world?
Half orcs. Actually, really, most half be things.
Half elf could be in half elf.
Yeah. Don't know why there's no half dwarfs, but
half elf. I kind of like that. So maybe he's, yeah. I kind of like, yeah. Bearded, redheaded. Very stereotypical, I suppose.
well, it fits Paul pretty well.
A little bit. And but he's definitely brawny, maybe carries an axe, right?
I like it.
So it's easy to do his personality because I can model him after somebody very familiar to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. And he's definitely somebody who would jump right in if there was trouble.
So he is going to be an NPC that's going to assist the good guys, our PCs. Mm-hmm. Alrighty.
So, okay. So then a couple other people that we might see. You gave me an idea earlier that I really like, and that was a courier. I love the idea that there's maybe somebody who has to deliver a message,
mm-hmm.
Or an object, or who
parcel
knows,
or something.
Yeah, somebody's got something important, and that's why he's there, or she, or
yeah. I want to make this one a she. That'd be kind of cool.
I like the idea of another gal. And she needs a name. What would be a good name?
Natalie.
Ooh, I like that. Natalie. So maybe she's a tiny, tiny little petite thing with a really fast horse.
All right. So what race? Are we talking like halfling, tiny?
Horse person. Let's see. Not a halfling. Maybe just
a good old human.
Maybe just a human. Yeah.
Brown hair. A little bit of red to it. Kind of sarcastic.
Gee, I wonder who she's like.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody like that.
We're just basing this way too off of home.
She's short and she's tiny, but she's
all
quick.
Right.
I like it.
High dexterity score.
I guess I don't. Oh yeah, high dex. I guess I don't need to know what she's carrying. That's not really important.
Well, what if one of the PCs want to steal it?
Then I'll have to know. I guess I'll have to roll on a table.
I like it. Rolling table. That makes it even more better. Perfect. So I don't have to worry about that.
So, right. So we probably need a couple other guests just in case.
All right.
Or at least one other. There's probably some other random staff members, but we don't need to know who they are. There's probably a couple people that help wait tables when it's busy, or help, wash dishes or whatever.
Also, another kind of random question: would any NPC be killed by the time the PCs wake up and get downstairs?
Probably not. But there could potentially be a death if they don't act quickly, and somebody could die in the fire.
All right.
Somebody could. I don't think the why can't I think of what the bad guys? Anyway, cultists? The troublemakers, huh?
The cultists and rabble-rousers.
Yeah, the
initiates.
Yeah, the initiates, and the. I don't think that they're not trying to mess with anybody inside. They're not coming inside, and they're not trying to mess with anybody inside. They're your typical bully, right? Who does it from afar.
Okay.
So yeah, but somebody could be injured. Somebody could be injured, or somebody could be dealing with, the fire. Maybe somebody gets hit by glass when they throw the Molotov cocktail inside or whatever.
The alchemist fires, yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it's going to be. I guess I have to figure out what that is, but I kind of have a pretty good idea. It's something along the lines of that. Molotov cocktail is what I keep thinking. Like, how easy is it just to take a bottle of oil and stick something in it, light it on fire, and throw it through a window. That's pretty easy and
I definitely would
cowardly
have
enough,
that.
right? It'd be pretty easy. So, yeah. And yeah. So, a couple other people, or at least one other person. I don't know how many I really need to have prepped, but
You really don't need a whole bunch, just enough for you to use.
Maybe some religious figures or a healer or something.
Okay, so like a traveling.
There could be a bard.
Oh, a bard, a religious bard, or just a regular bard?
Could just be a bard that's like the entertainer at the inn.
Okay. Or maybe she's not like, or maybe she isn't like just for the inn. Maybe they just travel around and this is one times they're here.
Maybe just while they're there, they've been. Hadn't thought about that, but that's not a bad idea. Maybe a although what would make a bard be way out the edge of the? I feel like a bard would be more in the populated areas, huh?
Well, maybe it's just moving, as you said, this is on the outskirts of the city, so maybe it's just moving to get closer in and happens to find himself or themselves in this little place. Maybe this is like a local favorite of theirs. It's quiet and out of the way, but they can make money.
Maybe he's coming from the neighboring kingdom for the impending wedding.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, and a wedding, too.
Well, I like that. Bard. Bard. He, she, it could be a troupe, too. Or a pair of bards.
Ooh, pair would be cool.
Right? Maybe they do a little, one of them does juggling and stuff, and one of them plays an instrument, or, and one sing, maybe they have a little two-person show. I like that. So I think we have a guy and a girl. And they are?
Ansel and Claire.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. And they are halflings.
Halflings, okay. Fitting.
So they're cute little. I think they're a couple even. Maybe they don't know they're a couple yet, but
they're gonna get there one day. All right, so even created like a little mini story for them too. How beautiful!
Yeah. I like that. That's cute. All right, so that's our inn inhabitants. Guests.
All right,
and then we need. So then I need. So I'm gonna put. I like. These guys are initiates.
All right, something interesting for each of them. Make them stand out a little bit.
Right. So I have to say that I kind of... Have you seen the movie The Lost Boys?
Isn't that the one with like the really weird vampire? No, Lost Boys was a
vampire movie. Yes.
Oh yeah, it was a bad. Okay, it was like a really bad, or not really bad. It wasn't bad. It was pretty good, but it was really cheesy, like 70s.
Very campy. It's like an 80s. It's an 80s movie.
And then like when they died, they blew up into glitter. I did remember that.
I don't remember glitter,
but
I
need to rewatch it. Like their goo is all super glittery. It was hilarious. Or like, oh, that's the first N-word.
I haven't seen that movie for a while either, but I managed to see it every couple years. I like that movie a lot, actually.
It's pretty good. Okay, so which one of them we're trying to base off of then?
So I'm kind of picturing, so the one guy's Kiefer Sutherland, right? And he's got sort of a little bit of a beard. He's sort of strawberry blonde, kind of rough looking. He's got kind of a Billy Idol thing going on, right? He's got the like leather
everything.
Huh?
Basically leather everything.
Right.
I remember.
So strawberry blonde. He's also in the movie Stand By Me, and he's a similar punky character in that. He's the instigator. He's the guy who's like pushing everybody else to do You remember? Have you seen that?
I don't think so. I'm missing out.
So that's the one where the three boys is based on the story by Stephen King called The Body, which I think was actually one of his Bachman books. Anyway, these young boys. Well, is it 3 or 4? Anyway, this group of boys go looking for this body this missing kid, and they find out one of the older brothers has seen the body. And he stupidly tells the other members of his gang about it, and the little brother overhears. And so they go on this hike to go find this body, and they end up. It's kind of this war it ends up being a war between the big brothers and the little brothers. And but it's a good story. It's a coming of age story, and Will Wheaton's in it. So Will Wheaton, who most people know from the Star Trek series, Next Generation, and now Tabletop on YouTube. He's in it. He's the main character in it.
Awesome.
So, but it's kind of Kiefer Sutherland's in it, and he plays kind of a similar character. So, Strawberry Blonde. Maybe he's got an earring in one ear.
All right.
So that's a good defining feature. And then he's got, what would be the equivalent of that kind of biker look in time, in more medieval frame?
I guess probably more like that's actually a pretty tough one. I don't know. Maybe more like a bandit type armor, so where he's kind of a little bit rowdy, but that's kind of hard to say. I mean, I don't think they really have such things, kind of like a biker or rebel rouser type.
Right.
It would just be anybody who probably has got that too low of a point where they actually had to do stuff like that. So I don't know.
So maybe he wears. I do like the idea of the leather partial gloves,
studded armor,
like studded.
Maybe it's like mismatch armor, parts that he might have taken or stolen, or maybe even pulled from
half gloves.
Yeah, half gloves.
And I like what you're just saying, armor, mismatched armor.
Yeah, salvaged.
And maybe some of it's leather and some of it's not.
I like it.
So, and then the second initiate, so still sticking with that image from the Lost Boys, there's that guy who's in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And he's a short little guy. I don't think I've seen him in any other movies besides those two, but he's this short blonde guy with really tight curls. And he just has this smart-ass look on his face all the time.
So basically like Malfoy?
Kind of, but Malfoy's not short, and he doesn't have curly hair. But yeah, he's got that same smart-ass look. His face is a different shape and stuff, but
all right. But what kind of will set him out?
Tight curls, smart-ass expression.
Okay.
And yeah, what else? What
type of weapons are they using? Because that's kind of a big thing too.
He wears a leather vest.
Leather vest. All right.
Yeah, weapons. What would some guys who really don't have a lot of money?
Maybe one of them's using like a wood axe, a woodfeller's axe.
An axe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think Strawberry Blonde guy.
Yeah.
I think he has a dagger.
Right, just a dagger.
He'd be the kid with the switchblade in the big city, right? In like a gang in modern day. So I'm thinking dagger, for him.
All right, that makes sense.
And maybe a set of brass, or maybe not brass knuckles, but maybe those leather gloves he has because they're studded.
Okay. So you can do some damage, maybe like a 1d4.
Huh?
Maybe like a 1d4 damage if he punches you with them.
Yeah.
All right.
And then, well, I guess a dagger's only 1d4 too.
Yeah, so it's the same thing. It's not gonna be a huge difference. It's the difference between bludgeoning and piercing, slashing.
But he likes to hit people. He's mean. He's cruel. I like that. He's cruel.
Okay.
And maybe one of these guys has to have a bow, in my opinion. A bow or a crossbow or something. I feel like they're shooting maybe some fire flame arrows into the place.
Yeah.
Maybe? Oh, maybe not. Maybe
Maybe the last guy's gonna be like almost, he probably would be like a really good kid and probably very smart, so he probably might have finer clothes, but they kind of got brought into the wrong crowd, and maybe he's apprenticing wizard, so he knows some basic spells, basic cantrips, maybe even like 2 or 3 first level spells.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
So maybe he might even be able to be reasoned with if they can get him away from the Malfoy and Will Wheaton type.
Right. So he's maybe he's robed, and so maybe we don't see a lot of what he looks like.
Maybe it's a woman. No,
maybe it's a woman. But I think I don't think so. I think it's a guy. Robed or cloaked. Nicer clothes. So maybe he carries a staff.
Yeah, I like that.
Or maybe he carries a wand.
Oh, yeah, we don't see too many of those either. That makes more sense for like apprentice too.
Yeah, I like that. So he carries a wand and he wears a robe, well, a cloak or something, or both. And he's tall and slender. So going back to the short blonde guy, maybe he just carries. What did you say earlier? You said a.
What's been axe?
An axe.
An axe.
Yeah, like a regular axe, not a
war axe or anything. It's actually meant for
not a
combat.
Combat axe, just an axe.
Maybe some sort of gardening tool.
Huh?
Maybe they all kind of use maybe some sort of like gardening tools that you expect to find out in a farm, be it hoe or scythes, pitchforks
or a
even.
scythe. Ooh.
The scythes sound cool and they look cool, but they're not really all that effective.
Mean guy with the studded stuff. I see him. He'd carry a scythe, wouldn't he?
There you go. Yeah.
Or a machete.
Ooh, machete would be good too.
Let's do machete instead of a dagger. I like that. So, all right. So we got those guys. Do I need names?
Yes. I usually have my bad guys have names, so it's always a good idea. You never know if they're gonna try talking to them.
Let's see. So, trying to think of names for punky dudes. Eric's the strawberry blonde.
Sure. Yeah. Maybe Matthew as the wizard apprentice.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, Matthew.
They call him Matt short.
And the smartass kid is Tony.
Tony. All right.
All right. So that leaves us with their guys that are the actual cult members, the young cultists.
Okay.
So these are the guys. These are like their sponsors.
All right. So are we trying to make like this basically interesting characteristics to recognize them by, and how many do we want?
So I have 5 total, but I think only 2 of them really need to be distinguishable, and the rest are just kind of
Background.
along for they're just there to flesh out the group.
Or maybe one of them is missing an eye from his own adventures trying to get in.
Does he wear an eye patch, or does he have a naked missing eye?
Just leave it. Just leave it. No, maybe the eye isn't missing, but maybe it's just all white by now.
Ooh.
Says it got destroyed, and just like you see scars across his face. Maybe it was him being punished for talking back against his own masters.
And
so it's a very
like...
Yep, and it's very cut and controlled. It wasn't like maybe he got in a fight, but maybe he had to stand there and take it as he was cut down in the face, marked for his insults.
Right. I like that. So trying hard not to screw up again.
Yeah. And this is probably why it's probably going to be real frustrating to him to see these people like just totally destroying his idea of what trying to get in is going to be like. And so this could be like, not maybe his last chance, but he's still kind of pressing it.
His name is Marcus.
Marcus. All right. Sweet. And then we need another one.
Cultist number 2 could be a chick.
All right. Cool. We're going all...
I've been kind of sexist so far, so I need to get somebody else in there.
Being inclusive now.
Yeah.
To all people. All right, maybe this chick
Sloan.
What's her name?
Her name is Sloan.
Sloan, okay.
And she is... What is she? She's brown hair. Green eyes.
Maybe instead of wearing robes, maybe she has like, well, it's still kind of robe-esque. Maybe she wears a tighter armor and she actually uses a real sword.
A what armor?
Tighter, like actual like real armor that you actually do combat in. So maybe just like some leather, but it still kind of has like the bad guy's insignia.
Yeah. Right. I like it. And so what does she carry for a weapon? A sword?
Yeah, maybe like a rapier, something kind of finesse.
Ooh, rapier. I like that.
And maybe she just has real determined, almost hawk-like eyes.
Huh?
Maybe just real determined, almost hawk-like eyes that she's just watching from the kind of like from far away, judging.
Hawk-like. Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And going back to Marcus then, what does he carry for a weapon?
I think Marcus should carry...
What about a... I don't know. Let's see. Maybe just a sword. Or short swords.
Maybe he has a... Maybe he's actually a warlock, so he can form his weapon whenever he needs to, being packed of a sword or blade.
That's cool.
And then you can kind of flavor that one to be kind of, whatever that cult stands for. Since you're keeping it a secret from me too, I don't know too much about it. Maybe just kind of forms however you think that cult would materialize itself.
Cool. Okay, and then there's 3 others, and I guess they're just going to be nondescript.
Yeah, just robed, just wolf-like eyes. How's that?
Yeah. Maybe they carry just swords, short swords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And daggers.
The guy have a really funny idea. So there's a spell called Unseen Servant, and I had one of my players because he had a real big issue with everyone else in the group couldn't see the servant because they're invisible, right? So he ended up putting a robe on his Unseen Servant, And then he'd have the robe follow him around everywhere, and he looked like he'd always have his head down, so you'd always think it was like a cultist behind him.
That's hilarious.
And so he actually ended up using that with some of the other people to kind of make it look like he was a cult leader. So I just kind of thought maybe even if you wanted to, you could have those guys be that. So just in case if they do fight, you don't have to have like 5 extra freaking cultists going after them. Maybe it's just for show. Maybe he's just using it as almost like illusion. You know?
Right. Nice.
I just thought that was really funny. I don't know if you ever used that spell before, but it's pretty helpful.
I actually have that. My mage in my 2nd edition game has it, but I have yet to use it.
Oh, come on. It's so useful.
I think it's a little less it's a little scarier in 2nd edition.
Oh, what does it do?
It can turn on you.
No way.
It resents being sent to do certain kinds of things, and yeah. That's awesome. I'd have to redo the spell, but yeah. So I think Sloane also carries throwing knives.
Oh, cool. I like it.
I think she's who she looks like? Hunger Games, Foxface.
I don't even know who that is, but I'll go with it.
It's a character that kept getting referred to as Foxface. In the first movie, she's the chick who Katniss keeps running into her. And she's the one who eventually, I think she's the one who eats the berries.
Ooh.
So, or maybe there's another chick too who does like throw stuff, but I can't remember her name. So anyway, yeah. So, yeah, I like that. So last but not least, we have a mysterious figure that they will not interact with, but who I need to be prepared to describe to some degree. So he's just kind of the epilogue, the punctuation to the event. So I figure he's a mature man or woman. I keep saying he on everything, but it doesn't always have to be he.
This one could be he.
So he's maybe in his 30s, maybe 30s. I think he has a scar on his cheek.
Maybe terrible burns.
Ooh.
Or maybe even like lightning burns from magic. I don't know.
I like that. Something, yeah, like that would be good. Or maybe he's even got claw marks or
if you kind of want to make it more mysterious, maybe for other reasons, maybe he's using a spell like Disguise Self, but you can tell it's there. So you can see his body ripple or his face ripple.
Right.
Looking at it.
Right. Oh, I like that.
Kind of keep it mysterious, you know.
Yeah, I like it. I'm gonna put Disguise Self ? So he's and I think he's in robes of a different color. I'm not sure what all the colors are gonna be yet though. But he's and his insignia will be prominent, and they're finer robes than.
Okay.
So whatever the other cultists' robes look like, or their cloaks, or they may just have cloaks or something. He's got a different color than they do. Like maybe theirs are green and his is black or midnight blue, or I don't know. So maybe he even has a pendant with the symbol on it or something. I feel like he needs something to like make him seem more important.
Staff. Ah, yeah, I like it. No weapon, just a staff. He doesn't need any weapons.
Maybe a staff with a
Or
obsidian orb at the top or something.
Something cult-like, or maybe his spell book or something.
So awesome. This is good. I think this is all the little details that I needed to figure out.
Sweet. Well, then it looks like my job here is undone.
Thanks for the help. I appreciate it. So if anybody has any other suggestions, feel free to comment below. And you know, what are you folks working on? What was your first GM experience like? What was your first encounter? I don't know. Anything you want to share relating to that would be awesome to hear. And don't forget to like the video, give it the thumbs up if you enjoy these kinds so that we can do more like them. Anything else you want to add, Nate?
I'm just kind of curious to see how you guys create your NPCs when you're about to start a game. So for me, I usually run through stuff a lot quicker in my mind when I'm about to set up an encounter, and I always kind of make like these long. Sometimes I'll just think of NPC stories, and I'll have those kind of little fun impromptu events where I just try to design a backstory to like some random person, why he'd be there. So yeah, I'm just kind of curious to see how you guys create your thing. How do you show a sign of importance for your NPCs? So like her, as I noticed, her smaller character, which was less important, the bad guy uses a wand, but the bigger one, the big guy, uses a staff. Do you guys use any type of sort of thing like for that as well? So yep, just those would be my ideas, my questions I want to ask them. And thank you for listening to us ramble and kind of go on this little impromptu creation event.
Yep, love to hear what you can share. So until next time then, don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, and get out and get gaming.
Bye. All right, then we can stop broadcast.